Welcome back to another edition of the Insurance Answers podcast, and today it's going to actually be a video cast. Today we're going to be answering or tackling the question of if I have a home-based business, and obviously that's worked out of my house, is it covered by my homeowner's insurance? The answer to that question is it depends. Depends on your insurance company and what kind of coverages you have on your home insurance. In most cases, it's not covered. That's what we're going to deal with today as far as in more detail as far as why it's important to maybe look at outside coverages. But the bottom line is you need to check with your carrier, contact your insurance agent, and find out as far as does your insurance carrier cover your home-based business on your homeowner's policy. Most carriers have limits on them. I know with Farmers Insurance, my carrier, we have specific limits on them as well. So if you are a home-based business, and we're going to deal more on what types of home-based businesses might want to consider this, you may want to definitely contact your agent to make sure that your home-based business is covered. And today, to help me answer that question and get more in detail, I have with me a special guest, Mr. Scott Kimbrough. He is owner of Shozai Healthy Chocolate, actually not Shozai, but Kimbrough Cocoa.
That's right.
Shozai Healthy Chocolate Distributor with his lovely wife, Mary Evelyn. They also are a client of mine, so we have their home insured as well as their business insured. And I'm going to have Scott help me today discuss this important topic as far as, do you need other insurance besides your homeowner's insurance to cover you in your home-based business. Now, Scott's been involved with a home-based business for how long now, Scott?
With this particular business for 5.5 years, Keith.
And you were actually involved with other, home-based businesses before that, like, a large one called Amway. Is that correct?
Absolutely. 2 different times, totaling 13 years, as a matter of fact, back in the 80s and 90s.
Awesome. Now, I know with Shozai, it has afforded you, and you've gotten up to a level now where you're actually doing Shozai, being a healthy chocolate distributor full-time now, and you left, if you want to say, a very high-level job. Is that correct?
Yes, I was Chief Operating Officer of the family oil company in Nashville back, I guess, almost 5 years ago now. After about 8.5 months in this business, went full-time business, so do business out of our home now, almost the last 5 years.
That's very awesome. Now, let's talk about home-based businesses. I mean, there, besides Shozai and Amway's, what other home-based businesses might people be involved with? I know especially since the downturn of the economy in 2008, home-based businesses has become very, very popular. Another way for people to generate some additional income. Explain to let's name maybe a few other ones that maybe people that might be very popular out there.
Oh, sure. There are a lot of course, companies in the network marketing or multi-level marketing, direct sales industry. Everything from like a Pampered Chef or ACN or Shackley or a Melaleuca or Amway or Herbalife, and there's a lot of different companies in that industry. But of course, as you well know, Keith, with what you do here, there are a lot of companies, home-based businesses in other industries too. I remember when I ran the family oil business, I was always recommending our employees to have a home-based business for what they had a passion for on the side. I'm thinking right now of a good friend of mine named Linda has worked there at that company for now 25 years. And about 5 years ago, when I was still working at that company, I pulled her aside and I said, Linda, is this your passion? She goes, well, not really. I said, what is it? She said, cooking and cleaning. And I said, have you ever thought about having a catering business out of your home? And so whether it be catering, whether it be, gosh, we're here in Music City, USA area, so obviously musicians, whether it be people who want to do tutoring of their home. There's some people like to keep other people's pets in their home or things like that. There are so many different ways of having a home-based business, both in direct sales and network marketing and outside of it. I know one of the things we were talking about just a few minutes ago was the fact that did some research last night, found that here in 2013, it's now estimated the number's going to hit over 20 million home-based businesses in the U.S. now.
Wow.
By the end of this year.
That's a lot.
It is.
And so it's important then, I guess, that if you have a home-based business like you do, that you make sure that you have the proper coverage. And I know when we sat down to write your homeowner's insurance, we looked at your home-based business to see, what kind of coverages that, were there gaps? And there is. I mean, because your homeowner's coverage or policy only covers up to some certain limit. And you have things, as an example, like your personal property. Business personal property is a coverage that covers not only all your inventory, but also your things that you use out of your home in a work environment. As an example, your desks, computers, file cabinets. You have all sorts of stuff that you use. You have a whole office in your house. All that stuff is because you use it for a commercial use, meaning you earn money off of it. Right. It's then a commercial based product or business, personal property, I should say, and it needs to be covered by that kind of a policy. So that we looked at that as far as for you and found that, hey, that's something that we need to cover for you, but also talk about liability issues too.
Well, whether it be in a network marketing company or any other traditional kind of business, there are situations where you may be entertaining clients at your home. You may be having prospects in our industry or distributors who come over to do training at our home, or in like a catering business. You may have some people come over, maybe they're getting married and they want to try out some different foods in your home. So there are people there in your home/business that you got to watch out for in the way of liability. I mean, obviously, if a slip and fall situation goes on, they get hurt. If you're in any kind of business dealing with food, possibly some contamination, or they're allergic to it and didn't bother to tell you, didn't tell them what ingredient was in there. There are liability issues all throughout your home/business that you need to take a look with your insurance person to see what's covered and what's not.
Exactly. And as we wrap up as far as today's video cast, I just want to make sure as far as that our listeners are aware of that. If you own a home-based business and you run any kind of a business out of your home where you're making some kind of income, as Scott had mentioned, whether it's a multi-level marketing kind of company like Shozai and Premier Jewelry. I have a client of mine that's a premier jeweler that has a lot of jewelry as far as inventory. So it's really important that if you have a home-based business that you look at, number one, the size of your business, because not everybody that's in a multi-level marketing business or even has any kind of home-based business, they might not need a separate commercial policy depending on what their risks are and exposure. But if you do have larger risks or exposure or large inventory, you might want to look at finding an outside source. And we did that for you. And what did you find as far as when we looked at insurance for you? What did you find with Farmers specifically?
Well, to give a little background on that, before we got to be friends, Keith, when we started our business, I didn't know you. And so I was checking around the different insurance people that I knew, and I got one of two answers. Either our particular company doesn't have home-based business coverage, or, oh, we have it, but our commercial coverage is more for, like your oil company over here, and the minimums are so huge they were totally irrelevant, and the prices were just ridiculous. So when we started, we really didn't have any insurance, though I personally wanted some. I found it not feasible. I found you, and one of the first things we talked about is, hey, yes, we do have home-based business coverage, and we checked it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, number one, you have it. Number two, the prices were incredible. So we've stayed with you guys ever since. We love it.
Yeah. And that's important too, as far as a lot of home-based businesses, you're not making a lot of extra money, so it sometimes just doesn't make sense to spend a whole lot on insurance either. But again, depending on the size of your home-based business, it can be very, very affordable. I know that obviously rates change, but from when we first started, I think insuring your business under your house, it was in that range of $300 to $400 a year. And still it's very, very reasonable. So when you talk about annual premiums based on the income that you're making and also the exposure of liability risk and again the product that you might have, it absolutely can make sense to carry an extra policy to make sure that coverage is there.
I tell people, Keith, in our business is the best decisions that people make are based off all the facts. And so what I tell people to do is get with your insurance professional, get your questions answered. Don't assume anything. Don't assume, oh, I'm sure I'm covered. I'm assume I don't need any. Walk through it with your insurance professional and see what your options are and whether it should be something you need to consider or not before you just make your own decision.
Awesome. Now, again, as we conclude today's video cast, is there any last things you'd like to share with the listeners today?
I'd simply say that it comes down to, look, you're building a business. I'm sure to make some extra income, but also to follow your dreams in many cases. The last thing you want to do is go out there and succeed in business, fulfill all your dreams, and have it fall apart because you don't have the right coverage. And that can happen if you're not careful.
Very good. And again, for those of you who are listening, if you want more information, not only about home-based business insurance coverage, you can find it at Insurance Answers TN. That's the letters TN.com. That's our website. And also, if you want to get more information about Scott and his business as far as the healthy chocolate, I want to tell you, as far as I actually am a consumer of the healthy chocolate, I love it. It's helped me out tremendously, not only in all sorts of areas as far as health-wise, but I have an issue with blood pressure, and this chocolate has helped me control my blood pressure tremendously. So if you want more information about Scott's products as far as his healthy chocolate, and they have a whole lot of other things they do besides just chocolate, it all revolves around chocolate, but they have shakes and all sorts of stuff. You can find that in the show notes also. It's just kimbrococo.com. We'll have links in the show notes, though, you can go right to Scott's website and find it, as well as his direct phone number will also be in the show notes as well. So if you want to get more information from Scott directly, you can simply call him. Again, we appreciate you listeners as far as being with us today. If you have any other questions about insurance that you want answered, please go to our website, insuranceanswers.com, insuranceanswerstn actually.com. Put your questions right there on the website, and we'll be sure to answer them as well. Thank you so much, and have a great day.